Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy, and I want to talk about the importance of pattern metrics replacing math in political analysis and political decision making. And I want to talk about this through the lens of the 2021 Dune film going on to Netflix. And that's a huge event, and it shows a pattern, right? A pattern that can be used to make political decisions and can be used to make political analysis. So I think it's really critical that we do this, and that we begin to, and that as Vivek's support team, right? Actually, I would say as Vivek's support community, he has a team, right? He has a political team, which is extremely powerful and very good. I think that Vivek's team is giving him good advice, and he is following it. Those two things do not always connect. It's another reason why I really dislike passionately. I would say that I kind of despise. I'm going to say it. I despise President Donald Trump. I think he's attached villainy to American leadership, and I despise that. I actually, that's a good point. I despise what President Donald Trump does. I don't despise the person. That's a better way to approach it, right? I'm an evangelical Christian here. Got to keep it light, right? Yeah. So basically, there's this pattern emerging, and I want to talk about pattern metrics rather than math. And there's a lot here, so let's start to dig into this. So first of all, let's talk about math in politics, political analysis, political speech, and political decision making. So first of all, math in political analysis, political speech, and political decision making is dead. Okay, how do I know this? Tim Scott, right? Absolute ridiculous, horrible performance in debate 2, and the reason why was, and it's a fundamental failure for him, for his team, and not understanding new pattern metrics, right? So let's talk about this, right? All right. So Tim Scott gets up and he goes, "Oh, Nikki Haley, you took 10% off the we're talking about a 10% reduction in the national blah 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 blah, and it really should have been 12%." And you're like, "What nonsense are you talking now?" And he'd be like, "We have a 6% rise in blah, blah, blah." And he's bringing out these percentages, and what he's really doing is pretending it's 2004 or 1984 rather than 2024, right? And so here's like two ways to say this. So basically the candidates would be like, hey, there was a 55% increase in Fenty coming up over the border. It's terrible. It's a real problem, right? Nobody wants to hear numbers anymore, right? If you are a political contender, the way Tim Scott and Vivek Ramaswamy are, you don't talk about numbers anymore, ever, right? And the reason why is what you say is, I will take the U.S. military, I will take the U.S. Army and go to war with the cartels, right? Like, you take the analysis and you say what the thing will do. And if there's nothing to do, don't say nothing, right? Like, if you got some numbers that haven't prompted action, shut your mouth. Nobody cares, right? Like, and this is the part that Tim Scott does not understand. He thinks math still matters. Math doesn't matter, okay? What matters are pattern metrics, okay? So let's talk about a powerful pattern metric that just happened, all right? And that was a massive studio intellectual property that was commercially and culturally and critically successful that just dropped on Netflix. And that is the 2021 Dune, the Timothée Chalamet Dune, the Zendaya Dune, the Denis Villeneuve Dune, okay? Now, if you don't, you're like, Scott, we're talking about politics. Why are you talking about entertainment? Recognize, all right? Raise your eyes and see the horizon, okay? We don't make steel anymore. We don't make anything tangible in America because we have moved beyond it. Okay? Creating tangible goods is lesser creating. It's for lesser creators. We are greater creators. We make the art that the world wants to see. We make the entertainment that the world wants to see. And Hollywood's blockbusters are more powerful than any tangible good we have ever made, and are more powerful than any tangible good that is being made in the world, right? So when I talk about the 2021 Timothée Chalamet film, you need to understand this is massively important. And the reason why is, first of all, Dune is the number one. Dune is the number one science fiction work ever created anywhere in the world, and it's American, a masterpiece. It's a part of Americana, and it is the pinnacle of sci-fi. Period. End of sentence. In prose, written. Star Wars is the pinnacle of sci-fi on film, but Frank Herbert's Dune is the pinnacle of science fiction, and it is America defeating the world in science fiction, right? Like we own science fiction because we make the best of it, right? And so this is the best science fiction that exists ever, Dune, okay? And it's a huge intellectual property, but has struggled to be brought to the big or small screen. In fact, it's failed every single time until 2021, right? But this is the start of a multi-billion-dollar intellectual property. And the thing is, this is the issue, right? We have the FDA, right? We have all these departments that oversee all these ridiculously useless tangible goods like food and drugs, right? And we monitor for quality. And we say, you're not allowed to give a hot dog that isn't good. You're not allowed to give food that's rotten to our people. But we watch while Hollywood, but our government, which Vivek Ramaswamy will be in charge of very soon, right, allows rotten art, right? Non-quality art to be shoved upon the American people all the time. We would never allow a drug that doesn't work. We would never allow a food that makes people sick, right? Our governmental departments would oversee this and stop it. But we don't have government oversight over art. And outrageously foolish, terrible things stop American art from producing millions of jobs. And that's what 2021 Dune is. It is millions of jobs. It is Lego Dune, which we don't have yet, but we should, right? And Dune, and Timothée Chalamet's face on towels, right? And Duneland at not only at 3 different, major theme parks in America, but all over the world, right? Like, this is low millions of jobs, billions and billions and billions of dollars. And Hollywood has failed to do this for 30, 40 years and cost many people money in America, money and jobs, right? But when Dune dropped on Netflix, that was a huge pattern metric event, okay? So why is it important? So first of all, Warner Brothers made Dune, okay? That means it shouldn't have gone to Netflix, right? And the reason why is this is a huge intellectual property that was made by Warner Brothers. It is a great shame for them to put this film on Netflix. And by the way, it just dropped this week. By the way, if you have not seen 2021 Dune, see it. No spoilers here. It is phenomenal. It is 5 out of 5 stars. I saw it 3 times on the big screen, and I saw it 4 times on the small screen on Max, right? And it went on Hulu, okay? But the reality is, Max and Hulu don't matter. Nobody has it, right? The raccoon who lives under my porch has Netflix. Everybody has Netflix. This is not a joke, right? I'm incredibly blessed to... Actually, so I'm connected to I'm associated with someone who runs a service that helps homeless people. Many, I would even say the majority of homeless people have access to Netflix. Everybody has Netflix. So if you make a piece of art and you show it anywhere but Netflix, it's kind of like a tree. If you put something on a Max, right? The tree fell in the forest. Did anybody hear it? Maybe 4 people saw Max. Maybe 4 people saw Paramount Plus. Maybe 7 people saw something on Disney. But Disney doesn't bring things on, right? Like, be on there. Amazon Prime has everything, right? This is a huge deal that this happened, right? And the reason why is what I'm saying is this should have never happened, right? There's something fundamentally wrong with American economics that Dune came onto Netflix, right? It's a big freaking deal, right? And the reason why is what Warner Brothers realized is they are like, we made a world-breaking piece of intellectual property. This thing could be the next Harry Potter. It could be the next Star Wars. It could be massive. It could make millions of jobs. Harry Potter has made millions of jobs. Star Wars has made millions of jobs. Marvel has made millions of jobs because the intellectual property spans industries, segments of industries. And Dune belongs to be there, right? This is millions of jobs and billions of dollars. Billions, right? And this is an American intellectual property, right? And it needs to prosper. It was put on to Netflix, okay, because Warner Brothers realized they had to, right? Because they have the possibility of making these millions of dollars, right? And making these millions of jobs and making these billions of dollars, right? But if they hide their light under a bushel, nobody's going to see it. And they were like, we have to put Dune on Netflix, right? Give it to them, whatever. Sell it to them for $10. Who cares, right? We need the world to see Dune, because if the world doesn't see Dune, the movie that we've already shot, the second one, which is going to catapult this into the stratosphere as far as art, right, and consumed art, and massive, super arching, mega structure, artistic, intellectual properties, the world has to see it, right? And so basically, that's the point. There's no math here. Dune 2021, Dune, made by Warner Brothers, was sold to Netflix. That is huge, right? And what that says is that the world is changing, right? And that huge studios that should be able to release their own content is saying, we cannot allow American jobs and American profit to be hampered by our desire to grow a streaming service. And this is what I'm saying, right? The American government was massively involved in the creation of American Steel. And the American government needs to get all up in Hollywood's business and make sure, right, that other intellectual properties that belong on Netflix go to Netflix, right? And that means that Vivek Ramaswamy could create a department of art, right? A department of streaming, right? Let's put it out, a department of streaming, right? And do forced distribution, right? And say, what's a good example of this, right? It's hard to pay. Oh, Bob's Burgers. There you go, Bob's Burgers, right? Bob's Burgers is not made by Netflix, right? But it's one of these things where this could be as big as The Simpsons. They're now in their 14th season, right? And like Vivek Ramaswamy could get called in by some quant wonk, and they're saying, hey, we've done the numbers. The owner of Bob's Burgers is not going to put this on Netflix, but the world needs to see it because America's jobs and profit, American jobs and American profit, rely on this streaming on a platform where people will actually see it. We cannot allow American art that is this good to go unseen, because it will cost jobs and it will cost profit. It will cost American jobs and it will cost American profit, right? That's where we're landing. This is where we're landing, right? I believe that that Vivek Ramaswamy should absolutely pursue absolutely massive regulation of Hollywood, ensuring quality is delivered. The right cannot make entertainment. Absolutely cannot make entertainment. I went to see Sound of Freedom, right? Complete garbage film. You walk out of it, you're super sad, and there's no call to action, right? There's no action that will actually stop the problem it talked about, right? Like, the right is so terrible at making art, but the left is not. They are extremely powerful and effective at making art, right? But that's okay, because we can hack their stuff exactly like the left hacked the courts to get a whole bunch of things passed that the House and Senate would never pass. We can hack Hollywood. The right can hack Hollywood and massively flip the table and get the quality, the message, everything we want through Hollywood by simply regulating it, and regulating it massively, right? And doing forced distribution, saying this intellectual property is so powerful and has such potential to create low millions of jobs and low millions in profit for America that we're simply not going to allow it to sit here and and not be seen by the world. You have to release this on Netflix, sell it to them for $10. The government orders it. That's where we should be going, and we should begin immediately abandoning numbers affecting political analysis, numbers affecting political decision making, numbers affecting political speech, and move to a model of pattern metrics, which people understand and is intuitive and logical. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.